Welcome, everyone, to a brand new Explainer. I am so thrilled you're joining us today because we are looking at a truly fascinating career trajectory. We're going to explore the life's work of Scott Joy, a visionary who has spent literally decades doing exactly what our title says, bringing together people through innovative design and technology. So let's get right into it.
Okay, let's dive right into this. What on earth connects a 1970s smart toy for kids to a modern, nationwide digital platform for democratic engagement? I mean, on the surface, these seem like totally unrelated things, right? One is a piece of retro consumer electronics, and the other is a highly complex civic network. But as we unpack the source material today, we're going to discover that these are actually milestones on a single, highly deliberate path forged by Scott Joy.
Here's our roadmap for today. We'll be tracing his journey from pioneering new technologies to assembling visionary teams, designing collaborative spaces, empowering democracy, and finally, looking at the future of connection. Starting with Section 1, pioneering new technologies and laying that digital groundwork. Joy is responsible for a staggering volume of firsts in information and communication technologies. Just think about this. Back in 1978, he led the design of Smart Alec, the first microprocessor-based computer for children. A smart toy existing in 1978? That is just wild to think about. It used physical cards and barcodes, essentially laying the groundwork for companies like Leapfrog decades later. Then, jump forward a bit to 1980. He conceived and financed the Planet Restaurant right in Washington, D.C. But this wasn't just a place to grab a bite to eat. It was literally the world's first internet cafe, complete with a Futures Club and terminals connected to early online news and conferencing systems. And by 1990, he founded Telepad Corporation, developing the Telepad Uni. This was a pen-based, handheld device featuring voice and data communications. He basically built a prototype smartphone long before the word smartphone was even in our vocabulary. And this brilliantly illustrates the core operational formula behind Joy's entire career. If you take just one thing away from this explainer, let it be this exact sequence. Joy didn't just toss out good ideas. First, he pioneered the identification, development, and application of new information and communication technologies. He built the foundational tech. Then, and only then, he actively brought together specialized teams with varied, highly appropriate skills to actually implement his vision. So it was tech first, then the human experts, and finally, the community implementation. Moving into Section 2, assembling the visionary teams. Finding the exact right people for the right tech.
The crucial point here is how deliberately he matched his tech visions with highly specific groups of skilled individuals. When his vision was microprocessor toys, he didn't just hire a bunch of generic coders. No, he assembled Cyanco, a dedicated team of engineers and marketers specifically to target the toy industry. When he wanted to build that Telepad tablet and smartphone prototype, he partnered directly with the principal developers of the Amiga computer because they were people who already deeply understood graphical computing. And even way back in 1974, for future forecasting, he established the Future Options Room, bringing together absolute heavyweight futurists like Herman Kahn and Alvin Toffler, the author of Future Shock. He always found the exact right minds for the specific problem at hand.
This brings us to a huge overarching theme. Hardware, no matter how incredibly advanced it might be, whether it's a 1970s microchip or an early 90s tablet, is fundamentally useless without the human network required to program it, build it, market it, and ultimately use it. Technology is just the tool, but the team is the engine. Let's look at Roku Technologies in the late 90s and see how this methodology scales up when applied to massive joint ventures. Joy pioneered wireless peer-to-peer software, but to make this huge vision a reality, he knew he couldn't go it alone. So he formed equity and joint venture partnerships with absolute giants of the era. Sun Microsystems helped with the software. Dallas Semiconductor built the initial prototypes for a $50 communication device he had designed. He brought Hewlett-Packard, Nextel, and 3Com to the table, raising over $10 million in venture capital. Working with companies of that immense prestige really highlights his networking prowess, right? He was acting as the ultimate hub, connecting these massive corporate powerhouses to execute a shared technological vision. Which brings us to Section 3, designing collaborative spaces, moving from hardware to human hubs. It is truly incredible to juxtapose his real estate projects with his digital worlds. On the physical side of things, he was a partner in a firm that acquired and renovated the 200,000 square foot DuPont Circle office building in D.C. And he oversaw the design of a conference center at the historic Bedford Springs Resort. He was physically building spaces for humans to congregate in the real world. But at the exact same time, simultaneously on the digital side, he was developing iLands, which were some of the very first applications for 3D topical online environments, and eventually the on-air knowledge network system. He was building architecture in both realms, all for the singular purpose of bringing people together. A perfect hybrid of this physical and digital world building is the concept of flex offices. While working with George Mason University, Joy created the 2C Lab, which stood for creativity and collaboration. He designed these flex offices to seamlessly integrate cutting-edge information and communications tech directly into new and renovated university spaces. This empowered student and faculty communities in a huge way, even helping a student club, Women in Neuroscience, win an Educational Club of the Year award. He was literally building collaboration into the very walls of the university. Next up, Section 4. Empowering democracy through networks, building the ultimate community platform. Now, consider the number 50. That massive number represents the 50 state hubs that make up the U.S. on our network. Joy's focus shifted to developing this knowledge-sharing software platform, culminating in a nationwide network designed to connect citizens across every single state in the entire country. The U.S. Honor Network is overseen by a 501c3 nonpartisan nonprofit, and it has a very distinct set of core goals. It utilizes volunteers from universities and nonpartisan organizations to provide unbiased, trusted information. The platform is entirely neutrally designed to connect citizens with their government, let them learn about the issues, discuss them civilly, and ultimately find common ground. Rather than amplifying division like so much of the internet today, this technology is strictly architected to facilitate constructive, impactful solutions and civil discussion. As the U.S. On Air Network itself states, democracy has always been a struggle. That is why our mission at U.S. On Air is to bring together Americans to become better informed and engaged. It's a really powerful thought. That quote perfectly encapsulates the culmination of Joy's work. All those years of building microprocessors and internet cafes and peer-to-peer software networks, they were all ultimately leading toward using tech platforms to strengthen the very fabric of society and democracy. Finally, Section 5, the future of connection, looking ahead. Because this methodology of innovating tech and assembling teams isn't just a thing of the past, it continues right into the present day. Even now, Joy is still out there assembling visionary teams. He's currently acting as the lead curator for a new custom hub on the network called AppFi, the Alternative Planetary Futures Institute. Working alongside other curators and the AppFi Science Council, he is still actively organizing human knowledge and expertise, using the digital architecture he built to help us navigate future planetary challenges. So we end with this question for you to consider today. How will you use technology to bring your community together? We've seen how one person used a strict, brilliant formula, developing the tech first, then curating the exact right human teams to build everything from smart toys to national democratic platforms. Technology is just the foundation, guys. Human connection is the ultimate goal. I really hope this explainer leaves you inspired to apply this tech-to-community pipeline in your own life, whatever your field might be. Thank you so much for joining me to explore this incredible material today, and as always, keep learning.